Welcome, everyone, to the AI Risk Reward Podcast. This is your host, Alec Crawford. And our special guest today is William Hollis, founder and CEO of RaiseAI. Welcome, William.
Thank you for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, it's good, fellow Connecticut resident. Pretty awesome, right? And look, today we're going to talk about how to choose the right AI tools for your real estate business, which is pretty cool. So let's kind of rewind the clock a little bit and go back in time. You know, did you get started with computers first or real estate first? Is the question, right?
Computers. Yeah. When I was five, we got our window. I was a little bit younger than five or older, rather. We got our first computer at home, a
Mm-hmm.
Windows 95
Mm-hmm.
computer back in the day. Some people might not even remember the giant monitors. I
Sure.
took the entire CPU apart. Just
Whoa.
yeah, I got in some trouble for that one. I got in
Yeah, I
trouble for that
bet.
one.
Yeah, I've heard
But
lots of stories like that, right? That sounds like any of the uh, I think Michael Dell did the same thing. He got a computer. The first thing he did is take it all apart. His friend's like, "Oh my god, what are you doing?" Right? Like,
exactly.
so thinking that he's ruined it. Okay, so you did computers first. That's cool. Did you go to school for that or?
No, I a self-taught software engineer.
Okay.
Just went to YouTube University, I like to call it, and then
Mm,
after a while, I did some freelance work for a while. Used to have a freelance web design company in the early
cool.
2000s, and then I got my first professional software development job around 2013,
Well, that's
2014,
cool.
and that was for an AI company actually at the time.
That's cool. Well, for me, like I was teaching myself to program in 1979, and YouTube did not exist. I can tell you that. And so, what were the challenges in terms of like teaching yourself software as opposed to going to school for that?
You don't know what you don't know. That's the biggest
Mm,
thing that I realized. And so, you know, as you're learning things and you're trying things out, and obviously you learn, you run into code errors or having a hard time doing things, and you don't even know why it's not working. You just know I
mm,
watched this video and then I typed it in and it didn't quite work the way I thought it would. So that was definitely a challenge, but it I have a pretty curious mind, and I think when you're self-taught, it lends itself to very sticky learning and helps you to learn what to Google.
oh, there you go. Or maybe ask ChatGPT at this point.
Oh yeah, these days, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was spending some time a few years ago, uh, building the proof of concept for the company I run today, AI Risk, and I didn't know Python. I knew C and a bunch of other languages, but it looked like Python was going to be the best language to prototype this in. And I would ask it questions like, what's variable scoping? How does that work in Python? Things like that. Things that like I
Mhm.
knew how it worked in C, but I had no idea how it worked in Python, right? And that was super helpful. And also in terms of, hey, what packages should I use for things like what's my best free SQL database package or whatever, right? Because obviously I was trying to build this POC for no money,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it was cool, and there's all kinds of incredible stuff back then about how to install Llama and run on your Mac using your GPU. It was incredible, incredible.
Man,
Anyway,
you're bringing back some memories now. So I was the
yeah.
opposite. I started off. My first backend language was Python. I didn't know any JavaScript for a very long time. When I was creating websites, everything was plain HTML and tables and all this sort of stuff. Some very light JavaScript. So then moving into the JavaScript space has been was a bit of a learning curve too. So it's pretty funny hearing somebody else's journey there, moving between languages.
Oh yeah. And look, you've developed AI solutions for global brands like Disney and Nike. Like that sounds pretty exciting. Like, but obviously AI is moving super super fast. So just share a little bit about. Tell us a story.
Yeah, I mean, so that job I got in about 2013, 2014, it was at one time one of the largest enterprise level AI companies in the world. And this is back when, I like to say, back when before AI was cool. We was to sit in the dark rooms and write hundreds of lines of code to do some of the things that we were trying to do. But it did give me the opportunity to interface with some of these large brands and really understand how to build enterprise level solutions. I'd created several mobile apps by that time, designed probably 100 websites. I don't know, but when you move up to that enterprise level, things are definitely done differently. And I got to learn a lot through those experiences. Probably the coolest thing I had a personal, hand in building. I never got to actually use it, but we built an chat interface for the kiosks in Disneyland
Oh, cool.
that they piloted for a while. So that was super cool. We got to do some little Mickey Mouse stuff. That was a pretty fun time. That was nice.
That's cool. So, tell us a little bit about maybe some mentors you've had along the way, or obviously, especially being self-taught, like having someone to help you out is important.
Yeah, it's interesting. My biggest mentor professionally is someone who I actually taught to code in the end. So he was the VP turned COO at the company that I was working for. When I came in at an entry level position. I was a they call it a knowledge base engineer. Basically, my job was to like upload articles and format things in the way that the system, the AI system, could understand and could parse properly. And I very early on said, "Hey, I want to move up. I know how to code. I want to get into these other areas of the company." And his name is Paolo. Paolo's the one who kind of encouraged me and gave me opportunities within the company to work on real projects and learn from the other developers there and kind of continue to push me. He would just throw me projects, things I had no idea how to do, and just say, "Hey, see if you can figure this out." And because he was willing to kind of take those bets on me, it really made me push myself into those places where you're not comfortable and you have to learn new things and you get frustrated, but you grow from it. And then fast forward 5, 6, 7 years, um, Paolo wants to now learn how to update some of the code in the system, so doesn't have to ask the tech guys for stuff all the time. So I ended up
Mm,
teaching him a little bit of JavaScript.
that's pretty funny. That's great. So, so tell us the origin story of Raise AI.
So about 5 or 6 years ago, I started to really dive into real estate. I'd always wanted to participate in real estate in some way since I was a young child. But basically, I started to look at commercial real estate opportunities, right? Buildings that cost millions of dollars. And to buy those buildings, you have to know how to raise capital. You need to learn how to raise money. I tried to raise money by myself after having never done it before and fell flat on my face a couple times. And so I went out and got some mentors there in that space and started to learn how to do things the way they do them. And I said, wow, this is a very manual and antiquated process. Like, why is no one using automation? Why doesn't anyone use any AI tools here? And the answer was, this is the way we've always done it. And
Right.
so I started to bring in some of the skills that I had from my technical skills into the capital raising side. And at the time, I was a part of a mastermind for raising capital specifically. And I would tell other people in the mastermind community the things that I built. I'll tell them about some of the tools that I built, the automations, the systems, and I just a few times I built it for people like kind of live on a call, or we'd have a couple of working sessions, and I'd help them build out their systems and processes as well. And I kind of got into this habit. I got this reputation of being the tech guy in the in that mastermind community. And one day I'm working on a project for a guy, and I said, give me a couple days, I'll have it done for you for free. I would just do that all this stuff for free. And days passed, a week passed, 2 weeks passed, and I hadn't gotten time to do it. I was just busy. I hadn't gotten time to do it. And he says, "Hey Hollis, you're taking a long time to do that thing for me. You think you would go faster if I paid you?" And I said, "Probably." I probably would go faster if you paid me. And that was really the birthplace of Raise AI. It's blossomed into a lot more than that, but that's the original origin story. That was client zero there. And we grew from there.
That's awesome. What a great story. Do you think you could work a little faster if I paid you money? That sounds that's you know, so some great investors, household name Warren Buffett, right, and his partner for a long time, Charlie Munger, who's unfortunately passed away. They would always say, especially Charlie, it's all about incentives, right? And if incentive with money gets you go faster, there you go. So, pivoting to more kind of questions about AI and real estate, like what are some ethical concerns you have about AI and real estate? Look, this real estate has a history of all kinds of crazy things, whether it's deals that weren't quite on the up and up, or obviously discrimination, things like that over time. And there are a lot of federal laws around that, around protecting against discrimination, whether that's where you want to live or getting a loan, things like that. So AI obviously doesn't have ethics built in, right? So, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, that's a pretty legitimate concern. I think AI takes the simplest path forward, and it knows historically based on data. Now that data has been skewed by the issues of the past, right? If you said, "Hey, it seems like all these kinds of people all seem to buy in this area," the AI is going to say, "Oh yeah, let me just go find more of those people." Now, why that may be the case, there could be an entire backstory behind that. I think it's very interesting when you look at how to work around those kinds of things. And my deep desire is that we continue to keep a human element in all areas, not just in real estate, but in all areas of business. I think about even how job applications are processed now, right? It's just, run it through the AI machine and see who it spits out, and then in the way that might skew different outcomes, or maybe not, right? But I think we have to keep an eye on it. That's definitely a real concern. And even as you it's important to understand how the AI works so that you can account for some of those things, right? Maybe put together your own models, put together some of your own data sets, take time to review some of the outcomes, to make sure that they're not skewed, no matter what it's for, because that's a that's a kind of a problem. It's kind of a problem right now.
Yeah, I totally hear you. And how do you think AI is going to change the future of capital raising and investor relationships?
I mean, it's already changing it pretty dramatically. Pretty dramatically. So the interesting thing is capital raising, or it's sales, just like anything else at the end of the day, right? You need to understand who are the buyers for your product, right? Who are the people who are not only have the desire to invest but the capability to invest, and then who and are they looking for your product, right? Because just because they have the capability doesn't mean that they're actually actively looking for it. And so AI is really good at figuring that sort of stuff out, because it's good at processing large amounts of data. So I think
Mhm.
on the operator side or the capital raiser side, it's going to give you the ability to get in front of the right people on a more consistent basis. But then from the investor side, AI is very good at pulling back the curtain. It's very good at
Ah,
pulling back the curtain. So some of the tools we've built, AI deal ranking software that's looking at um, private equity real estate, across many different sectors and many just different asset classes. And the reason why AI is so important here is because traditionally this is very hard to do. Because it's private equity, a lot of this stuff is not necessarily public information that you can just go look in some database for or wherever, right? You've got to go do some sleuthing. And AI is a master at sleuthing. So we've been able to put together some cool due diligence tools that can compare, deals across different markets, doing research on individuals, right? Is this person, because whenever you make any investment in private equity, you're always investing in people. Um, are these people the kind of people that I want to invest with? Do they historically show that they've aligned with the outcomes that I'm looking for? AI is good at finding out that kind of information. So I think it's kind of leveling the playing field a little bit, where operators are able to present deals better, but the investors are also able to do their due diligence a lot better as well.
yeah. So let's say you have a individual that decide, you know what, I want to allocate some money to real estate. It's some significant percentage of their their wealth? Like how would you go about that? What's your recommendation there? How should they go about that today? They know nothing about real estate other than they own a house or whatever, right? Like how would you invest that money?
I think it depends. You put people into one of two buckets. Either you want to be an active real estate investor, meaning you're going to go be a landlord, you're going to go, run an Airbnb or whatever asset class you want to invest in, buy mobile homes or whatever the case may be. Or you want to be a passive real estate investor, which means you're investing in some sort of a fund structure or a REIT or individual syndication of those sorts of things. So depending on where that person wants to go, we'll put them in, just kind of recommend different things. But on the fund side is where, RaiseAI operates. We help funds in particular, raise capital from investors. So if I'm an investor, I would probably go to an event where I could meet the fund managers in person. I know we're here talking about AI, right? So you probably think I have a digital solution, but at the end of the day, I think it's important to shake people's hands still, and look people in the eye. Even when I raise capital for projects that I'm investing, that I manage, I meet all the investors personally, in person if I can. Sometimes it's, it has to be virtual because of travel or whatever the case may be. But that's probably where I would start, because there you'll get a feel for who the people are. What your goals may be, will influence what asset class you invest in, right? Sometimes it's cash flow, sometimes it's preservation, with those sorts of things. But get out there and meet the people, and then come home and do the research. But the people, that's where you have to start.
Yeah, good advice. And what most concerns you thinking further into the future about AI?
Um, what are we gonna do? I think, and I mean that in the broadest possible sense. I mean, we are in a place now where very soon AI will be able to do a lot of the things that people do. I'm not ex- extraordinarily concerned about the job displacement thing. I think it will happen, but there will also be new jobs. Right, when computers came out, people lost jobs, and humans are very resilient in that way. And every revolution and evolution creates new opportunity. But also, we are creatures that desire purpose. We desire to create things. We desire to have influence, direct influence over our environment. But we're also lazy. We take the path of least resistance, and AI and automation and robotics are going to make things very, very, very easy. So what are we going to do? Where
Yeah,
will we find our individual sense of purpose on a day-to-day basis? I don't have
yeah,
the answer though.
yeah. We don't want to end up like the movie Wally with everybody lounging around the pool weighing 300 pounds, right? Um,
Exactly. Driving floating
aw-
chairs, right? We don't even get up to walk.
exactly, exactly. All right, awesome. Well, we're going to head into the last section of the podcast, which is a lightning round where I ask you whether something is underrated or overrated, and then give me a couple of sentences why. Obviously, you can say it's fairly rated if you feel that, but I'm going to start with pizza in Connecticut versus New York. Underrated or overrated?
I'm actually from Queens, so
Ah, so this is good.
overrated.
Overrated. Oh wow, overrated.
I'm a New
All
York
right,
pizza guy, man. I'm a loyalist. I'm
all
a New York
right,
pizza.
all right. Good answer. Good answer. I'm from New York too. So, uh, Stephen Covey, the author, underrated or overrated?
Oh, underrated, underrated,
Yeah. The role of automation in future proofing your business, underrated or overrated?
underrated. Every business needs to be doing it. Every single business, but they're not. We're not.
The Connecticut shoreline, underrated or overrated?
Ooh, underrated. I've discovered some beautiful places in Connecticut that I was surprised that I was still on the East Coast.
Yeah. AI powered investment tools, underrated or overrated?
Underrated, underrated. There's got to get the word out. I think there's a lot of opportunity. I know quick tangent, I know someone who's built an AI trading bot they use for themselves. They don't sell it. That has produced incredible outcomes for them, and it, underrated.
Right. Right. Caution, past performance may
Indeed,
not
indeed.
indicate future results, right?
Asterisk.
uh, Bike racing for fun.
Underrated, man. I love it. I think we should all get out there and cycle. It's a great way to clear your mind.
Oh, absolutely. Exercise, super important. Crowdfunding platforms for real estate, underrated or overrated?
I'm gonna go with overrated.
Mm,
There are a few good ones that I've seen, but you can get better returns going direct to the fund or direct to the operator.
okay. Using, and if this is more future case, but in the future, using the blockchain for real estate transactions, underrated or overrated?
Underrated. That is something I'm very, very excited for and optimistic for. To take a stable asset that's highly illiquid and add a touch of liquidity to it is a game changer.
Yeah. Uh, in person investor meetings, underrated or overrated?
Despite what I just said, I'm going to go a little bit overrated here because
Mm,
um, it's not scalable, and there's a lot of tire kickers out there that you you
yeah.
just can end up wasting a lot of
They're
time.
there for the free food.
Yep, yep. Couple of beer tickets, and then you just.
And then finally, the movie Ocean's 11, underrated or overrated?
I'm gonna say it's underrated only because my wife doesn't enjoy it as much as I do, and I don't know why. It's a fantastic movie.
Wow, that is hilarious. There are plenty of movies like that. So, anyway, this has been William Hollis. He's founder and CEO of RaiseAI. William, do you want to tell our listeners where they can find you?
Absolutely, I'm very active on LinkedIn. Just look up William Hollis on LinkedIn, or go to our website tryraise.ai.
Awesome. William, thanks for coming on the show. That was fun.
Thanks for having me, Alec. Appreciate it.